Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have to hold this microphone here, and I don't like it, and that is because it seems like some little technical difficulties here, and even though the whole thing here is at the highest volume, if I attach it to my collar, it will not be loud enough, and I don't want to yell much when it's not the right time. And I have here one subject and two articles. And the articles are from Reuters and New Voice of Ukraine. And they are about one of Putin's employee, which is one governmental or government official. And he is referred as Putin ally. And he says, this gentleman says that Russia, and he's telling something that is really accurate, Russia could destroy United States if United States launches a preemptive nuclear strike on Russia. So he says, well, don't even think about it because we can destroy you as well. One article looks at this issue in a certain way. The other article, which is the Ukrainian one, looks at it differently, and you will sense that. So I have a few things to point out during this video about these two different articles. Actually, they are about the same subject, it's just the weasels who wrote them are a little bit different. So the first one comes from Reuters, and it says that Putin ally, now the key word here is ally, says Russia has weapons to destroy US if its existence is threatened. So this guy right here, who is Russia's Security Council Secretary Patrushev, and this, I gotta tell you, Russian Security Council Secretary, that's a governmental, how do you call it, position. It's not his friend like they used to play ping pong when they were boys or something. And I noticed that sometime, or many times, I would say about 90% of the times when you have, let's say, Medvedev making some statements, or Patrushev making some statements, or people in the government, so they're in the government, in the Russian government, they're called Putin's allies. It's like, for instance, you would have Joe Biden, and you would have, Buttigieg, Buttigieg, the transportation secretary of the United States of America. He's a governmental, official. And nobody calls Buttigieg or Booty, whatever. Nobody calls him a Biden ally. They call him, Secretary of Transportation, whatever his first name, Buttigieg, Booty. Okay, so that's one example. You will not hear ally in that. So I'm suspecting that these guys are using ally just to diminish their governmental authority that they have. They are part of the government. Yes, of course, being appointed by Putin, they are his allies by definition. As Kamala Harris is Biden's ally, Buttigieg is his allies, and other ones like, Mark Milley is, what's his name, Biden's ally, and Lloyd Austin is, but they don't refer them to them as such. You might figure that out why. I think it's just to diminish, like that's a gang of thieves that are all loyal to one another, versus here in the United States, which I'm not right now, we are all, government, the rule of law, democracy, and you know what I mean. All right, so let's go back to this beautiful article. Start with Reuters, which, as I said, it's Putin's ally, says Russia has weapons to destroy US if its existence is threatened. And I'm going to show you the Ukrainian version of this guy's Patrushev's statements. He made some statements. This is how Americans interpret those statements, and this is how the Ukrainians are interpreting it. Russia threatens US with unique weapon capable of destroying it. Well, remember, this is Ukrainska Pravda, so this title should be more, would fit better in a US outlet. Like, this should be the Reuters title, and this one right here should be the New Voice of Ukraine title, but you have it the other way around, because these ones Ukrainska Pravda really wants the US to do something to Russia, but Americans are not idiots. So let's go here and read this, what Patrushev said. An ally of President Vladimir Putin has warned that Russia has the weapons to destroy any enemy. And I think that's correct, accurate representation of reality, including the United States, if its own existence is threatened, accusing Washington of underestimating Moscow's nuclear might. The comments came from Nikolai Patrushev, and now the influential secretary of Russia Security Council, are the latest from a senior Russian official, an ally, right, to raise the specter of nuclear showdown between the world's two largest nuclear powers, something Moscow says it wants to avoid. Well, if you corner a rat, the rat will jump you. So I'm not saying Russia is a rat, but anything that's cornered, you have got flight and fight. And I guess Russia has no reasons to fly or avoid fight in this case. And I'm quoting Patrushev. American politicians, trapped by their own propaganda, remain confident that, in the event of a direct conflict with Russia, the United States is capable of launching a preemptive missile strike after which Russia will no longer be able to respond. This is the United States is actually protocol, or using one of them, of using nuclear weapons, preemptive strikes, after which Russia could not longer be able to respond. This is a I'm continuing to quote Patrushev, this is a short-sighted stupidity and very dangerous, end quote. Patrushev told the state Rossiyskaya Gazeta newspaper on Monday. And I'm quoting again Patrushev. Russia is patient and does not intimidate anyone with its military advantage, but it has modern, unique weapons capable of destroying any adversary, including the United States, in the event of a threat to its existence, end quote, he said. You see, this guy, Patrushev, ex-KGB, of course, he picks his words as I would say, normal person. That means he's not adding or subtracting anything from his statement. It's a complete statement. He's not, hey, you know what? We're going to hook you up. No, we're going to hook you up if you threaten us. He's very, very clear in his communique. And hey, by the way, very hot in here. So some beer. I don't drink beer, but when it's hot, sometimes you have to. So this is the... You don't have to, but you indulge yourself, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Have any problem with that? Okay, just checking. So now we're going to go to the Ukrainian article, see how the Ukrainians might interpret that, since we saw how the Americans are. At least I know they're trying to... they're all upset with Putin who announced that Russia would station tactical nuclear missiles in Belarus. They're all upset because he's just copying the Americans in deploying nuclear weapons in Europe, as Americans did a long, long time ago in more than one country in Europe. So now we have a problem that Russia does the same thing at a very small scale. Remember, the United States has nuclear weapons in... I think Denmark or Belgium, was it? I made an article yesterday. Netherlands, Germany, Turkey. So it has in about five countries, I think, or four in Europe area. And these guys decided to do it in one country, and they're already all that. That shows you how just they are. Because justice, is based on reciprocity. So you can't just do it on your own. So Russia threatens U.S. with unique weapon capable of destroying it. The Security Council of Russia claimed that Russia has a unique weapon capable of destroying even the U.S. Source, this guy right here, quote from Patrushev. This is the same thing the other guy said. Right? Russia has a unique weapon which is capable of destroying any opponent, mainly the U.S., in case there is a threat to Russia's existence. He also added that, I'm quoting, American politicians' certainty that Russia will not be able to respond to preemptive strike by the US is a short-sighted and dangerous foolishness. Patrushev stated that after the collapse of the USSR, Russia allegedly, and I'm quoting, corrected its mistakes, and quote, and now, and I'm quoting again, can facilitate both internal stability and protection from external dangers, end quote. He also claimed that the US is trying to suppress, end quote, Russia and then will allegedly move on to China. I think you are 100% certain on that one. But hey, that's not popular where I come from, so whatever. He traditionally repeated that, and I'm quoting, the West has seriously miscalculated, counting on the collapse of the Russian economy and protest of the population against sanctions, end quote, and the Russia allegedly remains calm, end quote, under the sanctions pressure. Well, I don't think that is an identity without this, because I was a weasel. But hey, what can I do? I can make it. I can't drink and talk in the same time, and I have to do it and hold the microphone. You know how hard that is? Oh, are you hurting? Anyway, so here we have Patrushev, I think, making a correct assessment of what's going on here, and one of the situation, the circumstances here is that there's a war, and the Russians perceive it in a certain way. The West, they push a different story, and you guys, all you have to do is just find the truth. And how do you find the truth? Look left and right, up and down, and so on, like I'm trying to do. But you should not ignore the fact that we can't get or assign certain kind of titles just because to certain countries as being all good and the other ones all bad. Don't start with that, because there's no such thing as all good and all bad. If that's the case, that means that country, and I'm assuming a country that was all good, you can find. But I don't think you can find a country that was all bad. And I'm telling you how you can find a country that was all good was weak. Was the weakest country in the world. Because if that country was one time stronger than something else, I guarantee you that country was bad one time. But because it's weak, always got, you know what I mean, and then that's why it was weak, and that's why it was all good. That's why weak people usually profess this kind of, rule-based, and everybody goes and gets a piece of this, and, because the stronger will get everything. So the stronger would not like to be limited in the number of objects or women or whatever he would like to have. He would like to have how many he wants. Why? Because he knows that he's going to get the most of everybody else. But weak people say, no. Each person is going to get only one product. We're going to stay in line, like civilized, one after another, and the strong one is going to stay in line. And you stay over there and let the weasel get. No, that's not the selection of the fittest. That's not it. Because they're going to look in nature, and you're going to find out that the weak perishes, the strong, how do you call it? Gets stronger and multiplies. Only in the human race, it seems like the weak are over-breathing the strong. And why? Guess what? Because we vote. We vote, and then you can be as stupid as you are. You're gonna nullify as the vote of a person who's as intelligent as that person might be. And the same here. One vote, I have the same power as you, and we are equal. When in fact, we're not equal in abilities whatsoever. You're smarter in that, you're better in that, you have more skills in that. I have less here, I have more over there. But hey, I understand, this kind of philosophy, and I agree with it to a point. And you can look, if you want, for this kind of philosophy, as I always mention, Friedrich Nietzsche. The philosophy, they say the morality of the weak, or the morality of the strong, or they say morality of the slave morality versus master morality. That sounds very 19, you know what I mean? But if you look in nature, that's exactly what it is. And by the way, we're not outside of nature. we are obeying the nature's laws and rules, but we think that we are the ones that actually can alter that whenever we feel like. But nature laughs and says, okay, I'm gonna have the last laugh because you are gonna die when I say. Anyway, so here it is, my friends. Pushilin, what his name is. What is your name? Pushilin? Not Pushilin, doesn't sound right. Patrushev, Patrushev. So Patrushev, I think, has a clear understanding from his perspective, obviously, what's going on with his country, and he says, don't even dare to calculate that. Now, if they started talking about this kind of things, that's bad, because probably they have some information, some intelligence, that in some circles somewhere across Atlantic, there might be such conversations. This guy will not just make this kind of statements just to make them because he wants to be cute or something, or he's gonna be elected next election cycle and so on. He's not like that. Anyway, believe me, if you don't look at his history, and you're gonna find out he's not really a Democrat, if you know what I mean. Not Democrat as that supposed party in the United States of America, not like that. So you don't hear me gulping here. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.